I just tried to go live and lost my internet connection, so I'm going to try again. So I'm talking about irritability, and it's because I allowed myself to do a melon cleanse this past week. So it's a mono diet, meaning you're only eating one thing, right? So each day it was a different melon, and it's a great opportunity to gain very deep clarity on your life's experience. And so what came up for me, which is something that I've been contemplating for a while, is that I notice I have these pockets of time where I get irritable. And for the most part, I feel pretty damn good all the time. So coming into this awareness is really just helping me personally level up, which is what I love to do and help my clients do. And so noticing these pockets of irritability where I'm getting snappy with my family and I'm kind of losing my temper with my daughter, and it doesn't feel good in my system. Here's what I noticed. I was actually shaming my irritability. I was noticing I was getting irritable, and then I was judging myself for it, so I was suppressing it, which was actually creating a more irritable feeling, right? Just tightness and grumpiness and the feeling of fatigue, my eyes sunken in, just not wanting to engage in conversation, wanting to kind of like retract. And so physiologically, irritability in the body is simply when we have an oversensitivity to external stimuli. So we kind of go into this, like we're in an irritable phase, and there's a lot of biology to this. And so there are a lot of things we can do. However, the first thing that I want to share is something that's been radical for me, is before we get to the doing, it's really just, can you be with being irritable? And this was super valuable for me. I was like, can I embrace that I'm irritable right now and see it as a beautiful gift, that my body is actually giving me this wonderful feedback that something, doesn't feel good in my system. And it's funny, I literally just finished this super intense yoga workshop. I just walked out, so I'm really relaxed right now. So I figured this is like the perfect time to talk about irritability, because I'm not irritated right now. Albeit, physically, I've had a lot of yoga practice, so I'm definitely feeling a lot of different things. So now that I've had this perspective, it's also a great time to reflect. It's like, when I'm irritable, what time of day is it? Is there a specific time of day? Are there specific thoughts that come up? Are there specific triggers? And it's so helpful. So my first tip that I'm offering is learning to just embrace that the irritability is there for a reason, and it's simple feedback, and it's actually like a really clear set of feedback from your body. Like, I'm being overstimulated right now. Okay, what would be the trigger? So for me, it's like between 3:30 and 5:30, I have this like time, and I'm like, oh, interesting. So what is it about this time of day? And during the school year, it's like a lot of rushing around and, carpooling and traffic and commuting, and during the summer it's like, wow, it's still there, right? Even if I'm not doing those things. So it's maybe just partly habit. So first tip, notice. Hey sister. Notice if you can just simply be with the irritability. So what came up for me was like, I'm being irritable right now. And the second that I was like, I'm noticing I'm feeling irritable right now, I started to calm my nervous system. So it was one less stimulation, even though it wasn't external, but the stimulation of me judging myself for being irritable and trying to squash that. So that is the first tip I'm sharing out with you. Super quick. I'm going to pop in here throughout the week. I've got so much that came up for me in this past week that I couldn't wait to share it with you. I love being my own experiment, and then I love sharing that information out as soon as I put stuff into place. So there are certain things I've just started trying, which are awesome, that I can't wait to talk about, but I want to try them for a few more days first. And but this one has been all week long, just really, can I be at peace with being irritable right now? And the the second that I just step into that, it's like a release from my nervous system. So I would offer that to you. Notice then when you are irritable, is it a certain time of day, and are there certain triggers? And then just simply, I would totally invite you to take the opportunity to just write them down so you can kind of see a pattern, right? So like I always say, do a self-tour, like 24, 48 hours, and see, okay, it comes up. Same time, same triggers, same thoughts. And then once you're aware of those, you can start to be with them too and start to really heal around it so that you're not choosing the same life circumstance, right? This isn't about just dealing with the irritability and saying, all right, I'm irritable. It's about noticing the irritability and loving this part of you for letting you know that something doesn't feel good, and then being able to decide from there, okay, so if this is triggering me, well, what could I do to change the situation? So again, for me, I'm learning now, 3:30 to 5:30, I'm like, during this window, I really require some self-sweetness, some self-romance, like just a little window of time where I can just be with myself and apply some self-sweetness. And whatever that gets to look like is really just a moment-to-moment game. So, but it's going internal and just being with me and allowing myself to kind of be on the roof and be aloof, because I know that I biologically need that reflection time where I'm kind of allowing myself to disconnect from all the stimuli, and that's part of my nature, that's part of what supports me and being at my best. So if I can time it to be during that window of time where I notice I'm feeling irritable, I know that will serve me in then being able to show up and be of the highest light and the greatest good to everyone around me. So that is my tip for this evening. I'm gonna run, and I've got some fun dinner plans ahead of me. I'm so glad if you tuned in. I love talking about this because I live it, and I know a lot of people do too. So shoot me a message or comment below if you have any specific questions around irritability. I'm happy to answer anything, especially as far as the physiology goes. And like I said, I'll be popping up in here all week with my shares and my takeaways from this past week's melon cleanse. And if you want information on that, happy to share that too. So much love. Happy Saturday. I see I have a lot of loves watching. Hi guys. All right. Happy Saturday. Peace out. Enjoy.